Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is David. I'm known on the internet as Unity Freedom. So today I have a topic to continue on the Buddha's Eightfold Path, the topic about action. As Buddha's Eightfold Path describe action as right or wrong action. But today I'm going to talk about a different approach to action. You choose either to do high action or low action. So without further ado, I'll come back after the short intro. Hi, welcome back. So today the topic is about action. Now, in the Buddha's Eightfold Path, Buddha talks about action as being right action or wrong action. But today I'm going to talk deeper and replace the right and wrong actions with higher or lower actions. And if you follow me, you will understand why I've decided to embrace a new way of looking at action in today's modern world. Now, scientists has discovered that the world is made up of energy of a certain vibration. So anything we do, anything we express, based on higher speech or higher action, is made up of energy. But during the times of Buddha 2,500 years ago, or during the times of Jesus 2,000 years ago, the concept of energy is too difficult or too deep to have the people then to understand that the world is made up of energy of a certain vibration, and anything they do is based on energy. So the Buddha 2,500 years ago and Jesus and Moses at those times decided that the best approach for the people then, the disciples then, the followers then, is to define what are the right actions and what are the wrong actions. So when the Buddha defined the right actions, those are the actions that generally, if you don't have a deep understanding in spirituality, will get you out of trouble. So remember during Moses' times, Moses brings out the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. All these actions are rules that you follow. So for someone who just started out in spirituality, if you follow these defined rules, as you gain a more deeper understanding and walking the path of spirituality, you will not get yourself into trouble making more karma with other people. So if you have the urge to want to punish people by killing other people, or you think that your problems can be mitigated or solved by killing other people or hurting other people, at least you have these rules, these actions defined by the spiritual gurus or the teachers at the time to help you get you out of trouble or to keep you out of trouble. Because at the time, for people, for followers, it is very difficult to explain that certain actions will lower the vibrational energies. Certain actions will raise vibrational energies. And obviously, you want actions that help raise not only your own vibrational energies, but the vibrational energies of other people and earth. And what the Buddha did 2,500 years ago and what Jesus did 2,000 years ago were actions that actually did help raise the consciousness of the people at those times. Otherwise, how would their teachings survive to this modern day? Because it helps them raise their level of consciousness, but through the actions of raising people's vibrations. But at the time, because people don't understand anything about energy and vibrations, defining actions as a set of rules was the best these teachers can do, was the best that Buddha can teach, and was the best that Jesus can teach 2,000 years ago. But today, we are living in a modern world. Many of us now have a high level of understanding, a high level of consciousness, and acceptance that the world is made up of energy of a certain vibration. So in this talk about action, higher action or lower action, I'll talk about the relevance of our actions in regards to energy. So as we follow the rules define certain actions that can help raise your vibrations and avoid actions that can lower your vibrations. But today, you have many more tools. Your intuition, as you probably know, and you probably discovered by yourself through your intuition. If you're listening to my video, you come to the right place because your intuition had led you to my videos, had led you to want to listen to what I have to say. That's your intuition that guides you to define what sort of actions you do that can help you raise your vibration higher. So you would go to watch the videos of certain people that have the potential to help you raise your vibration, and you avoid watching certain programming, certain people that promote fear, promote hatred, because you know that those videos, those people will lower your vibrations. And how do you sense it? Through our heart chakra. We can sense that the vibration, when we listen to any speech, any presentation, you can feel at the moment before the presentation begins, you can feel a certain odd vibration. And then if you compare it with people who promote love and peace, such as people who are messengers of the Ascended Masters, or they may not be messengers of the Ascended Masters, they may be people who promote peace. who promote a certain idea, like Martin Luther King, or the Dalai Lama, or Gandhi. They promote a certain idea, but that idea vibrates at a certain frequency, a certain vibration that goes through you, and then you realize, oh, this is a good idea, a breakthrough for many people who are being bonded by old ideas and old traditions, and that limits them to function a certain way. And then this person comes along and do a couple of speeches, and then all of a sudden you are mesmerized by their speech. You are in tune, uplifted by their speech. And in the past, 2,000 years ago, Jesus was speaking to the crowd, and some of the people were uplifted by his message. And the Buddha also did that 2,500 years ago. But what are they doing? They are using the energy to speak, but the energy is imbued with a certain vibration, and that vibration can then trigger your heart chakra to get in tune with the speaker. And when you listen to the person, the volume isn't so much an importance rather than the frequency, the vibration of the speech, of the initial intention, the action to give that speech, to share the knowledge, to share the experience and insights to people who want to listen. And today, many people have the intuition already to sense this vibration, to sense the action of the speaker, the presenter, how genuine the person is willing to present this information, this insight, and then you can sense it, this vibration. If the vibration you feel is uplifting you and is allowing you to step back and think, maybe something in this message that can help me, then what is that kind of action if you ponder? What sort of action if you're allowing others to step back and say, maybe I have to step back and think about that? That person has taken your message and then contemplating what that message means. In a way, your message with a high intention that you're broadcasting at a certain higher vibrational frequency allows the person to ponder, to contemplate what I can take from this message, what I can do with this message that can allow me to shift my consciousness higher. So the intention, the action of any message, any speech that you want to give out, to share to the public, to the general public, any action that has the highest intention will lead to a higher speech, and your actions will then imbue a higher vibrational energy to the listeners. And of course, many of the uplifting messages that we will listen throughout the radio television, YouTube channels, Substack, all of these people who have the high intention, who are doing this with the highest action by spreading the insights, the information about many topics. Well, when we listen to it, we know that there's certain truth behind it. We don't know why. We can't really touch or really get a handle on why it sounds like there is a truth behind it. But the truth behind it is that there is a certain higher vibration that allows the viewer, the listener, to tune in, to contemplate, to think. This message is useful. It may not be useful now, but there is an imprint in your psyche that maybe next time when I listen to it, I might resonate to it. I may not understand it right now, but in the future, it may resonate with me. So in a way, the message, when it's presented with a higher action, you're allowing the viewer to lock on to your message and put it in the back burner to be one day be used to help that person transcend whatever limited psychology that that person has. So the message that someone who has a high intention will do is not to change other people's minds, not to manipulate other people's minds, but instead to share the insights and the expertise and the knowledge with sincerity, with transparency, to allow the person, the viewer, freedom, free will, to decide if this message applies to them. So there is no pressure, there is no force involved, because what is the key is that if you use force, if you try to manipulate people to listen, to take your message, is that the highest action? Probably not, because you're trying to manipulate people to take on your message, to accept your message. But if your message is inherently transparent, and you're just wanting to share your message, your insights, you have no desire to manipulate people, then the message itself will be imbued by your vibrational energy. And if you are taking on a message from a higher source, then it will be imbued with a higher vibrational energy. And once it's transmitted, once it's sent out into the universe, you're giving your service to the whole. And then when you're sending out that higher vibration energies, what happens? That higher vibration energies come back to you. And then, obviously, it makes you feel good. But also, it allows you to multiply these higher vibrational energies, and so allows you to multiply your talents, and then allow you to bring even more messages, more uplifting messages. And this is how certain people are able to bring in very high uplifting messages, and you listen to the person, and then when you come back and you listen to the person again, it's more and more uplifting. And it is in the heart that you feel it, not in your mind. I'll talk about the other uplifting phenomena that you feel overall your own being when you listen to certain messages or you're doing a certain action that are lower, that have a lower vibrational energies. But right now I'm talking about someone who is sharing the messages in a higher vibrational, with a higher vibrational energy. That energy flows through your being, you receive it through your heart, you feel it, it's uplifting, you listen to it, and then you eventually in the future will be able to take use of that message or that teaching, and that can help you transcend your current level of psychology to help you raise your consciousness higher, so then you vibrate, you have a higher vibration energy, because now the less unresolved psychologies you have in your being, the more vibrational light can flow through you. And then when you express more, then when it comes back, it can help you then resolve more of your unresolved psychology. So it is a loop, a positive loop. They can help others eventually, and potentially help others raise their consciousness, and also can help you raise your consciousness. So this is the multiplication factor if you choose to engage in higher action. So the higher action is about being and conducting actions that promote higher vibrational energies. And that higher vibrational energies you feel in your heart. Before even you do the action, you can feel it in your heart. You want to perform actions that have higher vibrational energies, that can be expressed with the higher vibrational energies. So this is what you want, your will to express it. If you have that will to want to express a higher vibrational energy. Now, of course, 2,500 years ago, many people would probably don't understand what am I talking about. But hopefully today, many people understand about energy, high vibrational energies, and low vibrational energies. And of course, the higher vibrational energies is better for you to experience positive spiritual growth. And so, after I talk about the higher vibrational energies, I'm going to talk about the lower vibrational energies, because this is the topic that many people don't quite understand. Because I see it and I see others, they think they're doing the right action in their mind, and the ego convinces them to do, but it's actually of lower vibration energies. So let's take drinking alcohol for an instance. Now some people think that, oh, I drink alcohol, that's okay, doesn't affect me that much. It feels good, gives me the buzz. But they don't really realize that when they're drinking alcohol, they're actually, because in this world, everything is driven by consciousness. And so if you have a certain consciousness and you put that focus, that concentration on a certain idea, for example, drinking alcohol, what you're doing, you're sending out energy and of this particular type of idea. So let's say you have an idea that you want to drink alcohol, then you send out this idea, I want to drink alcohol. And then this idea then forms what is called an entity. So for people who don't quite understand about evil and evil entities, at the end of the talk, I will link you to a really good website run by Kim Michaels. He's the Ascended Master, official Ascended Master messenger, and he has a really great article about explaining evil. And in that article, he'll talk about the entities that actually pull you down. No matter what you do, you try to quit drinking, these entities will continually pull you down to want you to drink more alcohol. But the idea is that anything we do is done with energy of a certain vibration. So if you drink, you create these entities. And the drinking entities, the alcohol entities, everybody drinks, everybody puts their focus and concentration, and then it builds up this entity, alcohol entity, that when you drink, you're feeding your energy to the entity. And of course, what happens? You get addicted to alcohol. You want to, every problem then becomes a solution by drinking alcohol. At least you think. The entities will convince you that, oh yeah, if you drink more alcohol, you can just forget about the problems that you have now. And so these entities will convince you to drink more and more and more alcohol. And sometimes it can even convince you, oh yeah, you have too much to drink, but you can still drive home. You'll be safe. And you would just fall for these entities. And as soon as you drink more and more and more, the entities take control of you more and more and more, until such a point that you will have no control. So you'll be a drunk. So everything that you do will be under the bottle of whiskey or bottle of cognac or this or that, anything related to alcohol. And so you have no control over it. Because what happens to an action? Whenever you send out an action, you'll receive a reaction. So you send out an action of drinking alcohol. That vibrational energy is very low. And when you receive the vibration energies back, a reaction, it then triggers your psychology of why you want to drink. And then when it triggers the psychology that you have in you that causes you to drink, then what do? You drink more. And then when you drink more, you send out another energy to these entities, lower vibrational energies, and then it multiplies more, sort of like it comes back, and then you react to that energy, and then you want to drink more. And it keeps going on and on and on. A reaction, a reaction, and a reaction. And you're going to wonder, why couldn't I stop? Why could I not stop drinking? I tried everything. I tried every way of stopping to drink, but I cannot stop. Now, this is one entity, the alcohol entity. We have also the sexual entities, the porno entities that tempt you. If you, for example, have sex with someone, it's only transactional, physical. There's no desire for connection, for oneness with the partner. All you're thinking about is, well, I just want to have physical sex. I want to have that nice, juicy sex with another woman. You want to feel the ejaculation inside the woman's vagina. That thought, when you send it out, that action, you send it out, even that thought, that fantasy thought, that you want to ejaculate into someone's vagina, if you're a man, it then goes into this porno sexual entities. And then what happens? The reaction comes back. It hits your emotional body, your mental body, and your identity body, and it makes you feel like you want to have sex. oh, there's this urge. And obviously your penis starts to get hard. And you think about it, oh, I just want to find someone to have sex with. And you don't realize that it's actually a reflection of your thought. So you don't realize that any fantasy you have in your mind, when you send it out, when you have that action, oh, I want to have sex with a woman, you inadvertently send out this action, this vibrational energy out in the open, and then it goes to the entity. And these entities then absorb it and then reflects back the reaction. And you feel this reaction, and then you feel that you want to have sex. There's that urge to want to have sex. And then, of course, you set it out again that you want to find someone, like you want to pay someone to have sex with, or you want to manipulate someone to get in bed with, and then you feed that action, that particular action, the energy, back to the entities. The entities then absorb this energy. It's lower vibrational energies, because entities and evil entities cannot absorb higher vibrational energies. So they have to get you to misqualify the energies, lower it down through these actions that don't really serve the whole. It's very selfish. These are selfish actions, only to serve you and you only. And then you would want to continually think in your mind to fulfill these actions. So now, after you had sex with one woman, then you want, oh, one is not enough, I need to have more. And so you find another one. As you find another one, guess what? You send out the action to these porno sexual entities. And then guess what? The reaction comes back. You feel horny, you want to have sex, and then all of a sudden this woman appears and she's horny too. She wants to have sex with you. And then it keeps going on and on and on. This reaction, another reaction, and another reaction. And it never stops, because these entities really want your energy. And you always feel this thing. It's always like this. You feel, when you have sex, you feel this orgasm, this high. Oh wow, this feels so good. Just amazing. After the orgasm, guess what? It goes so high and then it goes right down to low, because it's not long lasting. Because the action is of a lower vibration, it cannot be sustained. You only feel the high, and then all of a sudden it goes low. You know that another action is supporting your your team, like a football match or hockey match. You go to a hockey match, everybody yells at the team, oh, go, go, go. And when the team wins, you feel so high. And all of a sudden, it drops. But if your team loses, you feel so angry. And you have this high. You want to hurt someone. You want to kill someone. Or you want to destroy property. And lower actions will cause these kind of reactions of the lower vibrations. Anger, fear, depression, hatred. It will cause these reactions because the action that you send out will result in the reaction that you receive. So that's why 2,500 years ago, the Buddha couldn't teach this idea of lower vibration and higher vibrational frequency because those times people don't have any concept about energy, about attunement to these energies. So the Buddha taught at the time, these are the right actions, these are the wrong actions. And if you still don't have the ability to discern the vibrational energies, you cannot attune to the vibrational energies of your actions before you commit those actions, then sure, follow the rules, the guidelines. Like, don't have physical sex with someone you don't love. Don't gamble. Don't kill someone or hurt someone. But you don't have to. So these are valid actions as rules if you cannot attune yourself before you commit those actions. But if you have the ability to tune in to yourself, you will know that before you even commit an action, sometimes you feel angry. You want to kill that person. You see that, oh, that's a son of a bitch. I want to kill that person. Or I want to punish that person. It happened to me a few times. When someone scammed me, someone betrayed me, and when, I was doing something good. Like, just about a few months ago, I was helping someone, trying to help that someone improve her photography. But instead of getting a thank you, that someone never actually acknowledged any thanks, any appreciation for my help. And you felt that you get used. But before I returned the action, I sensed it in myself. I felt the anger. I felt betrayal that someone used me for something. But then I realized, if I were to respond in kind, such as being angry at her, then I would have sent out an action of a lower vibration. And guess what? I'm going to get back. I'm going to get back a lower vibrational reaction. And then it caused me to be even more angry, more frustrated. And then I'm going to send out again a lower vibrational energy. Because what causes me to be angry and to try to punish that person for not being appreciative of my help is because I have this unresolved psychology in my being that causes me to choose a particular lower action, not a higher action. Like, if I realize, well, that person doesn't appreciate what I did for her, that's okay. She has a choice. She has the right to do that, but I also have the right to walk away, to turn the other cheek. I don't need to respond. I turn the other cheek and be at peace in myself. That I did what I believe was helping her. But if she doesn't accept my help, she doesn't appreciate my help, that's okay. And I come to terms now that by me realizing and understanding this, that any action that I do, I have a choice to choose which action I do. Because every time I commit to an action, there's always going to be a reaction. Would you like to have a positive reaction coming back to you, where you can multiply more of the positive reaction? Or if you decide you want to send out a negative action, and thus what you get in return, a reflection of your negative action, is a negative reaction. And you probably now kind of wonder, hey, David, are you talking about karma? You are exactly right. I am talking about karma. Why are people stuck in a karmic loop? It's because in a past life, they had started an action of a lower vibration. They have started an action towards someone of a lower vibration. And guess what? When you send out an action of a lower vibration, it comes back as a negative reaction. And then you react to that negative reaction. It's almost like a robot, a programmed routine, without you realizing that you actually started it in a past life, a particular action of a lower vibration. And that a particular lower vibration, then in this life, because you have forgotten that action, but the reaction will lead you to the action that you took in a past life. If you are to step back and contemplate the reaction that you receive before you react to it, like responding in kind, you will realize that it has a relationship with an action you took in the past life. The action that is not the highest action. It may be at one point in time in the past life that you lived in, you may think it was the highest action. You may think that revenge, punishment of someone who had hurt you, who had scammed you, who had put you down, shamed you, and then you took an action to punish them. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Perhaps at that time in the past, you may believe that it is the right action. But now you have the ability, if you're willing to tune in to your heart chakra, to tune into your heart, and then evaluate. When you react to that reaction, is it negative or is it positive? Is it a high vibrational energy when you react to it? That when you react to it, oh, it gives you a high. Yeah, I punished that person. Damn, that person deserved to be punished. That person deserved to be judged. You get that high. But can that high be sustained? If you get a high initially and then boom, you crash, that means it's not the highest action that you did. But you can change that. You can change that return response. If you get a reaction in this life caused by an action you did in a past life, and when that reaction comes to you, maybe somebody judged you, put you down, scam you, or look down at you, stop reacting to that reaction. Stand back, tune into your heart, and say, what can I do to return my action so it can vibrate higher? Be creative. 2025 is the time for you to be creative. What can you do to return and make the previous actions that you did and change it so that it vibrates higher, so that the action that you express is of a higher vibration, so you can break the cycle. Because if you continually react with the same vibration, the cycle never ends. You cannot break the karmic cycle. Some people suggest you meditate on your karma. oh, it will go away. Oh, you just do some chants, it will all go away. But it doesn't go away because it's like a loop. When you send out an action, it will come back as a reaction. If you react to it the same way that you sent out the first action, you're stuck in the loop. There's no escaping the loop. You can't meditate out of it. You can't pray out of it. So what you really have to realize is the action is it a higher action or is it a lower action? If it's a higher action, then you don't have to do anything. It has a multiplication effect. The reaction will be higher and you feel that sense of a higher vibration and you want more. You want more of that higher vibration, so you send out even higher action that with a higher vibration, and then it comes back as being more. So this is obvious. The loop is more positive and it will help you raise on an upward spiral. But if you choose an action that has a low vibrational energy, a low vibrational component to it, then your reaction, the reaction when it comes back to you, will also be the same vibration. It's lower. And it causes you to continually be lower and lower and lower. It's a downward spiral. If you don't change your action to a higher action, you'll be stuck in a loop. You'll be in this karmic loop. So really, God and the Ascended Masters don't want you to be stuck in this loop. They want you to choose a higher action. And you can always choose a higher action anytime you decide to. But you need to step back and realize that the action you did in the past wasn't the highest action. It was the lowest action. And then you can contemplate, step back, and then choose a higher action. And be creative. When you try it out, like a different approach to expressing your action, after experiencing a reaction of a lower vibration that you sent out in a past life, you just be creative. You just try different things. Try being in silence. Trying to turn the other cheek. Or maybe change the way you respond to the other person. And then you evaluate in your heart, is that the highest action that you chose? If it's not, you just continually, because the thing is that when you send out a different response, a different action, you can only know it when you can feel it, and you may not be able to tune into that vibration, but when there's a reaction coming back, you would know if it's a higher vibration or a lower vibration, because if a higher vibration, you'll see that conditions will change. Because if you resolve the psychology in yourself, outer condition will change. Obviously, it won't be negative anymore. But during the course of this experimentation, you would experiment what would be the highest action. And it's okay to be innocent, to be childlike. Experiment. It's okay if you express one thing and it wasn't the highest action, you try it again. That's the beauty of this planet Earth. You just experiment until you find the right combination, which is your higher action than the action that you did in a past life, and then the conditions will change. You can now make a decisive choice by having the ability to sense a vibration in your being. what am I going to do with this reaction coming back to me? Do I want to repeat it, or do I want to say stop? This is it. This is the end of the line. I'm going to change. And you can. You just have to choose and decide. Do I want a higher action, or do I want to continue on with a lower action? So that's all I have to say. I thank you all for listening to my talks. And again, thank you for subscribing to my channel. And I will link to the website that Kim Michael has on explaining evil. And in the link, it will explain to you the entities and the evil entities that promote the lower actions or tie you into this constant feeding of the lower energies. So hopefully you'll know that the same lower actions that feed these entities will keep you tied to the loop. And the only way to get you out of the loop, any addiction, any actions that you did that you seem to be stuck in, you want to get out, now you know that there is a way to get out, is to choose a higher action. And you can experiment how you can get out of it and choose. You can even ask yourself, your higher self, if you're tuned into your higher self, help me tune in to a high action that can help me get out of this loop. And if you're willing to listen, your higher self or the higher source will help you, guide you out of the loop. Because in order to get you out of the loop, you cannot force yourself out of the loop of lower action. You can only choose an action, a high action, by first resolving the psychology that you have in the past, then led you to choose the action that causes you to be in this karmic loop. So that is the key. It's resolving psychology that causes you to commit an action in the past that led you to have a negative reaction in the present. And then when you see the psychology, see the action that you did, and see it as being no longer relevant to you anymore, you can choose a higher action. And you can experiment with the higher action until you find the higher action that brings you a positive reaction, and then you move up to a much higher and higher and higher action. Well, try it out. And I hope that many of you can benefit from this. And many of you, I know, will be able to choose a higher action that will lead you to experience a higher reaction. Until then, this is David saying goodbye.